Okay. All right. Clerk Kramer, can you write down the start time of the Board of Public Works meeting, please? And then we'll take roll call, please.
Alderman Ted Grady. Alderman Rapella. Alderman Nichols. Alderman Taylor. Alderman Sevenick. Alderman Langdon.
Here.
Alderman Schmidt. Alderman Tom Grady. All are present.
Thank you. First one is the minutes to approve. And I just wanted to make a comment quick that it was brought up about our minutes to approve, and I'm going through, and we had our minutes, so I don't understand what that person was talking about. But anyway, that's what I just wanted to mention that. So I have minutes to approve. Alderman Taylor.
Yeah, red light, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the Special Board of Public Works and the Board of Public Works from 6/7/21.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second by Alderman Ted Grady. So I got a motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ted Grady. All those signify saying aye. Aye. Nay. Minutes are approved. All right, first one on is D is discussion/action items, and the first one is the quarterly stormwater flyer, and that would go to Director Laura Youngworth.
Thank you, Alderman Langdon. My first time speaking. So before I jump in, I just wanted to say thank you for the appointment at the last meeting, and I'm very excited for this opportunity and hope to have a good long career here at the City of Menasha. So jumping into the agenda item here, the quarterly stormwater flyer. We, as a part of our MS4 stormwater permit, do need to supply to the public general information on stormwater to get people thinking about what they can do to improve our stormwater. And the item that we've included this time around is care for your personal lawn. We thought it was an appropriate time to bring this to everybody's attention. We have phosphorus reduction goals we need to meet as a city, and I think each individual property owner can start thinking about some of the things that they can do to help reduce that phosphorus as well. So just looking at mowing, weed control, use of fertilizers, and cleaning up anything you push out into the street. And again, phosphorus is a naturally occurring element in the grass, leaves that we do put out there. And as you fertilize, one thing we would like people to get to think about is making sure there is no phosphorus in those fertilizers. And that'll help with the algae blooms. And I know right now that's something we're seeing quite a bit with this warm up. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Are we on the quarterly stormwater flyer or what?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think Alderman Taylor was in there. Alderman Taylor?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the quarterly stormwater flyer.
Okay, I got a motion by Alderman Taylor to accept, and a second by Alderman Ted Grady. Questions? Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
I was wondering if possible, I understand you have this flyer, but we have a newsletter that goes out from time to time, and I think a lot of people don't understand that when they cut their grass, especially on the terrace, that they shouldn't be cutting it and sending it out into the road. So if we could address that in the next newsletter if possible. And I may be off topic here, Chair, but I'd like to also address the garbage cans being placed out in the roads. I think that's going to become an issue at some point. Maybe they have already, but on my way here, I'd have to say that more and more people are putting their garbage cans in the road, which is not permitted, and that they should stay either in their apron or on the terrace. That should be put in there too. Thank you for the leeway.
Thank you, Alderman Sevenick, and yes, I will accept the leeway on that. Thank you. I've been noticing that too. So I see Laura writing down there, so taking notes. Thank you. Alderman Becky.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
How do residents get their quarterly stormwater flyer?
At the moment, what we are doing, and that's one thing we need to start working on, that's one part of the stormwater update, as I had reviewed before we submitted the annual report. One thing we do need to work on, stepping up our outreach and information to the public, and I'm not talking into the microphone here. So we will be, some of the things we're looking at are maybe sending out flyers, information to properties that are adjacent to ponds, let's say. Talking about fertilizers. They're living right on the pond, we can start right in this concentrated area, branch out from there. Businesses, we can send to businesses that do concrete work, making sure they're not washing out concrete trucks into the streets, what have you. So this is one thing that we do need to step up on, is reaching out to the public and getting this out to the public. Currently, we're putting them on these agendas. We do post some information at the Public Works facility, but I agree that is one thing we do need to do better at.
Okay. And lastly, we're asking residents to not blow their lawn cuttings into the street. How can we get our city operations to not blow lawn clippings into the road?
More education to our staff, of course. And I think one part that is difficult about that is that we get a lot of seasonal, and not always the same ones. So it's going to be an ongoing, probably every year thing that we'll have to have a discussion on.
And if we're going to blow it into the street, then we might have to stop and pick it up. Sweep it up and bag it and do whatever. But if we're going to ask residents to do that, we should abide by our recommendations as well. Thank you so much.
I hope you understand. I want to quickly follow up on that before the other alderman. Is that an ordinance, Thad, and that they blowing in the grass in the road? Is that an ordinance that it shouldn't be, or is that just?
Yes.
It is. So if somebody sees somebody blowing it in and they call it in, do you have a letter like you do for garbage cans? Okay, thank you.
It kind of falls under our, I don't want to call it an illicit discharge because it's not really anything that you would consider a paint spill or an oil spill, but it is a potential detriment to the environment. So it does kind of fall under the illicit discharge portion of that permit, and we do have a procedure set up for that.
All right, thank you. I think I saw Alderman Randy next.
Thank you very much, Alderman Lincoln.
Let me push you, let me push you, Randy.
All right,
There you
not too
go.
hard.
There you go, there you go.
Corey, when you were talking about sending out your quarterly stormwater flyer, could that have been into the, trying to think where the stormwater is assessed on our electric bill?
So
Couldn't you put it in?
we
couldn't
don't,
you put it
this
in the-
quarterly newsletter, we give it to the council.
Oh.
And we give it to Public Works / Parks to post
Okay.
out there. It's kind of our staff educational. We do include letters in is it the spring or in the calendar? We don't do the, like, in the works
Okay.
newsletter any longer. It's in the city calendar that goes out with the recycling stuff. So there are a couple different articles in there, every year. To the comment to Mark's question about the grass clippings, I know, Randy,
You've done that, you've done a good job. with
questioned that. And when they've come up, we've sent letters to neighborhoods.
Right.
Not just targeting specific residents, we've tried to include the neighborhood. And when needed, we have followed up with specific residents that continue to do it, so.
So getting back, Corey, just real quick, your stormwater flyer, that could not be put in with the energy, with the electric bill, because that's what we're charged for our stormwater rate? I didn't know if that.
probably
that's something
can.
that, I mean, another piece of paper put in there with the bill, it may help educate the public.
And I think that's a good idea, and we'll we'll take that, and that kind of leads back to what Laura was saying, an area that we're trying to improve on, you know, and that's a good suggestion, thank you.
Yeah, because it wouldn't add to the mailing cost or anything, just one slip. Thank you. Moving on, Mark. Push somebody else. Thank you.
Alderman Taylor, I think, was next.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Laura, I heard you mention about concrete trucks. You know, it always seems like you see a concrete truck pouring a driveway, and then they'll go around the corner to railroad property, a vacant lot or something, and they kind of do their final flush or whatever, or sometimes into the curb. Is that allowed?
Oh, it's a good one, though, I think.
If it's on their own property, they can do it in grass. A lot of times you get it to kind of stick within the confines of the grass. We call it a vegetative buffer you have before it would discharge out into the street.
Okay.
That direct washing out into the street is where it can wash out into the system. It is a very basic material, so you're changing the pH enough that it could affect aquatic life. So that's the major purpose behind the concrete washouts. Usually on construction sites, they have a concrete washout station or a set area that they'll do it in. They'll kind of cordon off for it,
So when you see a cement truck going off-site for pouring a driveway and pouring a big concrete cow pie on some other property, that is legal or illegal?
Usually when it's more solidified, it doesn't run off as easily. You know, it's gonna solidify and kind of bond together. That can get picked up and hauled away if they do it. It's when after they get rid of that slag and then they start washing their chute out into the street, that's when you start getting that more diluted. It's gonna run off much easier.
Okay, and that's all right for them to do that, running down the sewer system?
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
no.
All right, thank you.
That would be one, if you do see, let us know and we would follow up on it.
Alderman Ted Grady?
Thank you, Chair. Question, Director Yugworth. The street sweepers, I have not seen one in a while in my area. I live over by Clovis Grove. It's pretty heavily wooded there now. All the cotton has kind of flown through and all the trees have budded and with the beads and stuff. My street apron, and I have a sewer drain on my property, or not on property, but right in front of the driveway there. And I'm always constantly out there sweeping or pulling it away so the water can flow through. And I'm saying, jeepers, where's the street sweeper? Is it not in operation? Or, I know they make pretty good attempts to follow through on a basis. So I don't know, Thad, if you can answer that, or because they know I'm an alderman and they don't come down my street, or?
We have been through the city twice already this year, and the people that are saying that they haven't seen us, it's drawn out on a map, they color code it as they're driving by. I can look into the map and double check to make sure, but I highly doubt they skipped your street on purpose.
Okay. No, it's just a question.
We were off for the last couple weeks on it, fixing some stuff for up around the new facility, but the street sweeper is back out this week.
Okay, thank
So-
you.
It'll go by twice now.
How many times, Thad, does you try to get how many times do they make the rounds? I know they go awfully slow, but how many times would they come down Alderman Grady's street?
We're trying to hit it at least once a month for our stormwater prevention that we have through Corey, and it's documented. But there's gonna be some months that we might not get to the entire city, but that's our goal, is at least once a month.
Okay, cool, thank you. All right, see no further, can we take a roll call? Clerk Kramer, please?
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Second discussion / action item is number 2. Do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to recommend to award contract unit 2021-04 asphalt concrete pavement.
Thank you. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Motion by Alderman James Taylor, second by Alderman Randy Rapella. So for questions, I always, I want to say that, I always say Director Corey, but for the people out there, now that we're on TV, this is from Corey Gordon. He is Deputy Director of Engineering. I thought I should say that. Thank you. Alderman Becky?
Thank you, Chair. Could we include in the motion the amount of $75,000.69?
Thank you. 75,000, how much? 55 cents.
69 cents.
69, there it is, 69 cents. Thank you. So that is, we'll make that into Alderman Taylor's motion to add the 75,069 cents. Is there any discussion? Seeing no one, Clerk call Kramer, roll call, please.
Randy, asphaltic.
I saw that, very asphaltic of you.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Okay, so, all right, number 3, discussion/action items. Do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve crack sealing various streets, Farner asphalt sealers. And we have an amount.
I'll take it. I got the recommended colors.
I don't have that on my paper. Staff recommends proceeding with the installation of, no, that's been, oh, okay, yes, I'm sorry, you're right.
got it,
Staff
James.
recommends proceeding with the installation of Hawk single system on Midway Road and Maplewood Middle School upon all parties signing the memorandum of understanding with, will fund 1/4 of the estimate of the $36,000 project.
Thank you, James. Alderman Taylor. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Becky. Discussion. Alderman Stan?
I guess anyone can take this one. How did you come up with the 1/4 cost?
Sure. So just to give a little bit of background, the school district approached us, clearly a major safety hazard at this location. This is Midway Road and Stead Drive at Maplewood Middle School. Many parents reached out, a lot of residents have reached out about the safety concerns and that they just don't want to see a child get killed in this location. So basically, they came to the city of Menasha first, asked for what we could do to help, and we said, well, this is split between Fox Crossing, this is a county road, it's also partially our road, and the school district obviously has a stake in the game. So pulled all the parties together, we sat down as a collaborative, discussed some options, came up with a few different ones, but determined that we, in our best interest and our professional experience, that the Hawk system would be the best option. This is similar to the one on Commercial Street at Nina Paper, just to give you an idea of how it would operate. And right now, it also lines up with heading into the oncoming traffic on Stead Drive, so we're looking at shifting it approximately 50 feet further east. Again, so that the students are not going directly into that oncoming traffic coming up north on Stead Drive. So the $36,000 estimate, I'll actually say that Adam put together. He has pulled me in on a lot of this. He started initiating this work, did pull me in on it, so I have obviously taken that over. But the cost estimates are in this packet, and it includes curb cuts to be able to relocate that pedestrian crossing, closing up the existing crossing. installing some sidewalk to make the walk up to the ramps ADA accessible, pavement marking for the new crosswalk, and of course, the new hawk system. We have received a quote from TAPCO at this point in time for the cost of that system, so that is also included in this packet. I am in the process of working with a different traffic company on getting a quote from them. So obviously, we are pursuing a number of options, and we'll go with whatever is the most cost-effective. We did sit down, when I say we, the 4 groups, we all went, Randy Gallo from Fox Crossing, I attended, Tom Borchert, our representative, and Chris from the school district. We all went to the Winnebago County Highway Commission, presented everything. They've never funded anything for pedestrian crossings in the past, so this was something that we had to go to them and say, look, we're willing to chip in if you're willing to chip in. And they did, for the first time ever, approve contributing up to a quarter of the cost of this installation. So Fox Crossing is going to their board next week from their end. And I have drafted an MOU, memorandum of understanding, so that if we are heading this up, which we've kind of been driving the project, that we would be reimbursed by all the parties, and we would not proceed with ordering anything or doing anything further until everybody has signed that agreement.
So you actually answered all my questions. I'm glad, because that's why I led you up
Perfect.
to it, and I turned my mic off, so I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Becky.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
One specific question about the location itself of the pedestrian crossing. I'm looking at the, I don't know what I'll call it, drawing of the Maplewood Middle School pedestrian crossing improvements. So it's the page following the map. And the sidewalk that leads from the school grounds to the crosswalk, will that sidewalk be moved as well to line up with the new crosswalk?
It is not planned as a part of this project because it is on private property.
Yeah.
But that would be the anticipation, that to make sure that the students are not trying to still continue to cross the street in that location, that they are being directed east. So yes, that, I would imagine that would get reconfigured.
Okay. But as it sits today, where the crosswalk is now, that sidewalk would be brought up to match the plane of the current sidewalk, and then a new,
So that ramp would be removed at
Ramp.
that location.
Thank
Yes, the
you.
curb ramp would be removed there.
and then a new ramp would be installed where the new
At the
crosswalk.
proposed location,
Got
correct. Ramps on either side with the warning fields, like I said, everything would be ADA accessible. And we
Okay.
have had our staff look at that to determine the extents of the work for ADA accessibility.
Wonderful. Thank you to everyone and anyone who's had anything to do with this. This is so desperately needed at Maplewood Middle School. My daughter rides the bus to and from school in a normal school year, but I do everything in my power to avoid that area before school and from the hours of 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, because it's just a nightmare over there. And people drive really fast. And I think through the pandemic, it actually got worse. So this is really needed, and this is going to be a great improvement. This might be a question for Chief Stika. Will a crossing guard remain at this location once the system is installed?
I may be able to answer that for
Okay.
you. Fox Crossing currently supplies a crossing guard and will continue to supply a crossing guard. They do not have anybody staffed there after sporting event closing. So that's another reason for the Hawk system, is that the students can trip it themselves after that time that the crossing guard is not there. But Fox Crossing is still planning on providing a crossing guard as far as we were informed.
I really hope that they do. I think it's really important and a important safety measure for that area. And then as far as the project itself, is there a requirement that the project be completed before school starts?
That's obviously their desire. We, at this point in time, because we're having to wait, I don't want to proceed without having this document signed, of course. There is a lead time of approximately 6 weeks on this system. We're going to do what we can to get it in as soon as we can. But I don't know if that's going to occur by the time school begins, just because of that lead time on ordering the system.
Okay, fingers crossed it can get done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, Clerk call Kramer, roll call, please. And, just really quick, remember, there's a memo in here, and it talks about the miles per hour. We are only voting on the crossing. That's it. I just wanted to say that, so. Okay.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Hall Kramer. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion to adjourn by Alderman Taylor and a second by Alderman Randy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.